Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do this interesting scale pattern or diamond cut on a shell veneer fishing lure. And I'm sure most of you guys already know that the Japanese have been doing lures with this same sort of method for a really long time, and there's not that much information about that, so I figured I would actually go ahead and do a step-by-step video about how I do this same sort of method. Alright, you're gonna need some sort of cutting tool like my carpet knife here, and then you're gonna need some sort of ruler. And I'm gonna start by just securing this piece of um, shell veneer to one place so that it doesn't move that much when I start actually cutting it. And I usually start by cutting this veneer stuff with roughly with 75-degree or 80-degree angle. And I don't really push that hard with the knife so that I don't actually cut through it, because that's definitely not something you want to do. Alright, I have this nifty little guideline here on my ruler, and I'm going to be using that to align all of the diamond cuts to a 45-degree angle compared to the other cuts that I made earlier. And just like before, I just don't really press too hard. You get a feel for this as you do a couple of these things, how much pressure you need to actually apply to the material. And of course, I forgot to mention earlier that for some people this might be a little bit too inaccurate to do it like this, and I got thinking that maybe um, drawing some sort of grid on the surface that you're working on might be helpful for some people, or maybe you could even use some sort of mesh to paint some sort of diamond pattern on the surface that you're going to be working on, and then just use that as a guide. Might work, might not. I don't know, because I've never used that myself. Just a little thought that I had here. Alright, next up I'm gonna be covering the shell veneer stuff with some masking tape, and basically this is just to save up a little bit of time later on when I actually start taking off all of the uh, rubber bands that I'm gonna be using to secure this shell veneer stuff on. Usually that sticks to this stuff with epoxy really well and just saves a little bit of time to actually do it like this. And of course it actually protects the diamond pattern a little bit when you actually start putting the rubber bands on. And unfortunately I misplaced my better scissors, so I'm forced to use these really crappy ones. So make sure that you have excellent scissors at hand. Yeah, as you can see, these are quite terrible. Quite terrible scissors. But still they get the job done, sort of. Alright guys, I'm gonna start mixing some epoxy here and just gonna mix a quite small patch. I don't really need that much epoxy on the shell veneers. Mix it thoroughly and you're ready to rock and roll. I think I'm gonna use my fingers still to mix the epoxy on the veneers a little bit more so that I get an even distribution of epoxy on the veneer pieces. Let's put this one on here. Let's take some rubber bands from here and I'm gonna start binding the lure with these rubber bands. I usually always start with the head part first, and that's basically the easiest way to actually align the veneer pieces to the lure later on. And then you just basically bind enough rubber bands to the lure until there's no bumps or places in the shell veneer that's raised up, because of course when you're going to start epoxying the whole lure, you're going to have problems later, so it's better to try and make it as smooth and even as possible. So just use a lot of rubber bands. These are pretty inexpensive to buy, so it's not a huge loss. I think I'm gonna add a couple more still. Now I think this is gonna be enough. Alright, and there you have it. And then you just wait a little while and it's time to take off the tape. Alright, then we can start taking the masking tape off. And as you guys can see, there's a little bit of residue from the epoxy and especially from the rubber bands that were bind to this lure. So it definitely saves a little bit of time to actually have masking tape on top of the shell veneer. And when you take this stuff off, you don't just yank it off. You just pull it quite gently so that you don't actually damage the shell veneer and your effort to actually do this diamond pattern on the veneer. So anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial of mine again, and I guess I'll see you guys next time.